Nigel Cecil, calling things out as you like it, especially for his fair-minded friends.
It's a blusty, windy day, so hello to all my fair-minded friends.
Cobblers to your fair-minded friends.
And cobblers to you too, but if you're fair-minded, you're still welcome. Hello, Chaka-Butties. Nigel Cecil here, moi, as an entertainment entrepreneur, responding to my equitable friends. What, Hilary? Yes, I recall now. My equitable friends have been in touch and said, Nigel, can we please be called fair-minded friends? Because we'd like you as an entertainment entrepreneur to discuss other things rather than just show business. Can we mention other things? Well, I thought, if not, why not? Why not, if not? And that's why this particular video for my fair-minded friends with moi is going to be about green climate agenda. You know, the sort of climate change and everything. And indeed, vehicles, cars, because everyone, no matter what occupation or profession you're in, or even if you're retired, well, what are we going to do without cars? And indeed, what are we going to do if summer doesn't come? But it is, Hilary, because regular viewers will know that during COVID, in the hope of expectation and the show must go on, we planted some daffodils in the name of equity, the trade union for actors, entertainers, variety and other creatives across the United Kingdom. Our daffodils, our equity daffodils, and they've started to bloom once again. And Hilary has left me some to show you. Have we got, here we go, look at this. There we go. Wonderful daffodils. A hope for the future. And let's hope that the rest of the year is going to bloom, especially as we now talk about the green climate agenda, climate change. Hilary, yes. What? Yes, cars. Now, what do we think about the climate change, the green agenda and cars? Now, we all need vehicles, really, because how are we going to get about just nipping to the shops? Some of us, in the pouring rain, well, you don't want to walk to the shops. And, of course, you've got everything to carry back. So the question is, why is it that all these changes that people suggest to compensate for climate change involve those who have the least paying more and those who have the most proportionately paying less? And that seems to apply to vehicles as well. Buy an electric vehicle. Who can afford an electric vehicle, Hilary? Not least because even the fleet car companies don't use them. If they all started using them, that will at least give us a second-hand market. And what second-hand? Try buying a cheap electric car. So, Nigel, having had a little chat with my equitable friends, my fair-minded friends now as they're called, came up with an idea. Quite radical, quite progressive, and without any warning, I would suddenly say to everyone, from midnight tomorrow, every vehicle registration document to buy will cost you £1,000 at least, and if you have a car, then your vehicle registration document is now worth £1,000 at least. In fact, you could vary that. The larger the engine capacity, the greater the registration document charge. But there will be exceptions. Those cars under 1,000cc will still be free for the registration document. And electric vehicles will also be free for the registration documents. So where does that leave us? Well, of course it means if you're buying a car under 1,000cc, well, it's not costing you any more. But if you want to buy a new car over 1,000cc, then depending whether it's going to cost you £1,000 or £2,000, depending on the engine capacity, well, it's going to cost you more. So, if you stick to under 1,000cc, there'll be no charge. Now, you'll say, well, where does that affect us? Well, of course, if you're trading in a car that's already registered, then of course there's no money to be exchanged, because the trader will of course have got a vehicle that's got a registration document that's worth £1,000, and they'll be giving you another one back, unless of course the engine capacity has increased. Then they will have to pay more for the registration, so you will. So those with the big gas guzzlers, the tanks on the road, they're going to pay more. But of course they can afford it, can't they, Hillary? But those who rely on the small vehicles to travel about will actually be paying no more whatsoever, other than the fact they've got a car that's either zero emission or very low emission. And you can keep that process going for some time before you have to review it. And in fact, it will have the effect of taking vehicles that are not really suitable to be on the road, they're scraping their MOTs off, because somebody might say, well, I don't need a car anymore. I'll just sack it and give it back to the DVLA, and you'll get £1,000. Yes, but when we say that, somebody might say, but Nigel, it's a little bit complicated. Not if you think about it, especially given that the DVLA are bringing in new changes in 2025. Nothing is impossible. It might sound complicated, but just think about it. All vehicle registrations, the new vehicles, will have to have a sliding scale of registration charges. And indeed, that means the government could also say, now think carefully about this one, because the main problem is the increase in vehicles on the road, especially the gas-guzzling ones. Government could say to all the traders and registrations of new vehicles that starting immediately, each year, we're going to reduce the number of registrations by 1%. Now, that figure I've just come up with. But if you then say that vehicles that are contributing to making climate change worse, we're going to reduce the number of registrations by a certain percentage each year, then it will bite in slowly, and everyone will become accommodated to the idea, and slowly it will get ready to sort of contribute to making less emissions. Well, there we are. So that's the idea. Registrations immediately tomorrow at 12 midnight or the day after. All registration documents are worth at least £1,000. Think about it. We need to come up with some radical ideas so that those who have the least don't get penalised the most, because that's what all politicians seem quite happy to do, whatever political party. Well, just put that up, and the fact that those at the bottom are going to pay them more than anyone else, well, what do we care? It's all equal, it's all fair. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. They always say, look after the least amongst your community, and you know you're then offering the best to everyone. So on that thought and climate change, what, Hillary? My joke-a-rooney. Yes, here we go. My joke-a-rooney. And Hillary, what have you got for me? This one here, yes. Yes, I suppose Peter Pan doesn't have a car, does he? No, why doesn't Peter Pan have a car? No, that's not what it says. It says, why is Peter Pan always flying? Why is Peter Pan always flying? Because he never lands. He never lands. Well, as I always say to everyone, happy landings to you. I hope all your landings are good, especially to all airline pilots. May all your landings be good. And please send in your ideas, because we'll now talk about anything really for my fair-minded friends. And car registration documents. Bye for now, Neverlands. Oh no, you've just reminded me. My strawberries, well, they land sometimes. So until the next time, bye for now. Strawberries and love to everyone.
Nigel Cecil, calling things out as you like it.
Cars and the Green Agenda, what are your ideas for making things equitable for all?